Hey, glad you're here. Don't look up there. I'm right here. Okay, hey, Pip. Glad you're here. In this video, we're going to talk about how we're going to use targets and feedback to assess where I am as a hitter, or to assess where your ball player is as a hitter currently. In the previous videos, so we talked about the main cause of issues. The main reason of issues for hitters is typically not knowing or not understanding what the speed gap is and how that affects us as a hitter. And if we recall real briefly, that is when that pitcher has that ability to exploit the speed gap in our brain, which is typically 6 miles an hour. And all that means is that if a pitcher can throw from pitch to pitch 6 or 7 or 8 miles an hour faster or slower than the previous pitch, will probably have an issue. Just meaning if they threw 80 on one pitch and they can come back at 72, will probably struggle. Conversely, let's say it was a softball pitcher and she threw 55 on one pitch and comes back at 63, 64, 65, 62, will struggle as a hitter as well. And it could be the same pitch, just going into different areas of the plate. Okay, so that was the first part, and then we talked about how do we deal with that speed gap, and that whole idea was marrying our body timing to the pitch timing. And we did that through a mnemonic using right now. Well, today I want to talk a little bit more about how we use the practical use of right now. So I have my little board back out here again. So let me try to do some good writing here again today. And so when I use my right now, if you recall, we had a target. This middle portion here, that would be the L screen. And then over here would be my hitter or myself, whatever that would be. And if we recall, what we were trying to do when we're using right now was to set a target and to try to work to the target. So first time, it could be that I got to the target and I was dead on the money at right now. And then the second time, maybe I got a little early and I missed my target. Or maybe I was a little late. I ran out of space on my iPad. I was a little late. And so I have to learn how to adjust and use my adjustment mechanism for my right now. So right now to right now, so that I could get on time. All right, so that was how we began to use this idea of right now. But what I wanted to tell you is that this right now also works on a larger scale too, as well as when we're drawing. So I'm back here on our board, and so when I first begin using this, and again when I set up my right now, I only need 25 to 30 feet, right? My target, my L screen, excuse me, so my L screen right here, my L screen, I need about 16 to 18 feet, okay? That's all I need, and then anything behind that, anything going behind here over to this area would just be beneficial for me. So 30 feet, I could get this done. Ideally, if I was on a field, I would have lots of targets there on a field. That's a target-rich environment. I could put out trash cans. I could put out cones. I could put out archery targets. I could do a whole just whatever was available to me. I can use other baseballs as well, buckets, as targets. And so this is going to help me in my training. So perhaps what I would do, let me get that out of here. I'll come back in. So when I would come back here, my first round, right? So if I was in my first round, I'm going to use one speed. Sorry about that. I'm going to use one location when I'm throwing to my hitter, okay? And what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to hit a fly ball. I'm going to try to hit a ground ball, and I'm going to try to hit a line drive. So I'm going to do 3 pitches per round, okay? 3 pitches 3 rounds just to begin with. And I can use this off of a tee. Okay, that's my little tee sitting there. Okay, so if that was my hitter in here, I could be using just 3 rounds, 3 pitches. And what I need to do, though, I need to start to measure those. Measure and track. Measure and track. Okay? And how do I do that? Very simply, I could have a pocket radar. Again, if I'm outside, I'd just use distance, right? Because the harder I hit, the further the ball's going to go. The more I improve, the more consistent I get with my right nows. But I want to make sure I'm starting to track everything. And what I want to track, if I have the pocket radar, if I have a radar gun, if I have the blast or such device, I want to measure velo. And then as I'm working on that, so the first time through, I just want to measure velo, and I want to see, can I get fly ball, ground ball, and line drive. And probably what you're going to find out here is that, let me see if I can get that out of there. Okay. What you'll find out is your ball player is probably going to do pretty well on one of those 3 areas. And then they're probably going to do poorly in one of those 3 areas. So if they have issues with hitting a fly ball, it's probably going to show up. If they have issues on hitting the ground balls, it's probably going to show up. And so what I want to do, it begins to set my plan as to how I have to improve in the areas that I want to improve on. So now when I go back out, so if that first round was that, so the second round, now I'm going to come back in, and again, I'm still at 1 speed, 1 location. Okay, again, I had my target out here. Again, I was behind my L screen. Again, my hitter was here. I could use a tee again. I could progress it by throwing live to my hitter. Okay, and now what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to see on the next set of balls how my swing line is beginning to play. All right, and it could be that, again, now I'm starting my intent is for fly balls. The first round, again, was about feeling adjustments, being able to hit a fly ball, being able to hit line drives, being able to hit ground balls. Okay, and now through my second round, what I'm trying to do, again, is I'm trying to figure out how consistent I am with the barrel to the ball. And as I measure that, a line drive would be like worth 5 points. A long fly ball would be worth 4. A fly out, a typical fly out would be a 3. If my hitter got in here and we hit a pop up in the infield, that's a 2. And a foul ball would be a 1. Okay, and so what I want to do then is, out of that set of 9 or 10 pitches in that second round, now I'm going to record velo. Okay, I still have my velo, and now I'm going to start to record my my launch angles, and those would be, okay, first pitch was a line drive right back through the L screen, and that's a 5. Then the next one was like a 2, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to add those up, and I'm going to take an average of what those are. Okay, and now I begin to get an idea, and as I do that, so the first swing I took, maybe it resulted in a 70, and it was a 3 on our scale, right? It's a little bit of a subjective scale in the sense that it could be off a little bit, but now I know that that was a 3 fly ball. All right, so I go through that whole series, and what I end up finding out is that I'm at 74 for my average exit velocities, and I'm at like a 4, which would be really good, on my average angles. All right, so this begins to help me set up my goals, my game plans, where it is that I'm trying to advance to. And I want to be able to do these. And in the meantime, what it's also going to do is it's going to show me where are my strengths as a hitter, where are my weaknesses as a hitter. And all of this was just done with 1 speed and 1 location. Now, if I want to progress this, I could go to 1 speed in another location. I could be inside. I could be outside. I could come back and go up and in and then down and away. So I could go to 2 locations if I wanted to. Obviously, I can keep progressing that over and over again. And eventually I could get to 2 speeds and multiple locations, okay, almost like random. And what we'll probably see is we'll see those numbers begin to suffer a little bit as it gets harder to hit. But what happens now is that will reinforce that use of right now. Okay? Now that's an advanced concept. That's something that we would do in level 2. But now you're getting to see that laid out in front of you, how this starts to work with us, as trying to find out where we are in our success path, where we are with our beginning hitters, where are our goals, how do I know where I am, or what do I want to do? And so everybody just always wants to come out and say, oh, hey, I want to have more power, or I want to have more consistency. But this is how we begin to figure out just exactly what our step-by-step is. Okay, so I hope that helps. I'll see you back here tomorrow. This is Coach Bill from Better Ball Player. Until then, keep swinging.